Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 526 Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. This is a very intense and exciting 3v3 Barbarian Invasion battle, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Legion 22, who has bought the Franks faction. Okay, let's have a quick look at them. As you can see, he's got a 120-man Levy Spearman unit there, which my guess is he'll probably use as a forward unit of his battle formation there to soak up enemy missiles and to take the first contact with the enemy. So that's what I think he'll use that unit for. Then we move on to his elite infantry, which are the Francisca Herban. Now these guys are axe throwing units. Can you see those axes there? I think they're effective against armor axes, and they can do a heck of a lot of damage to enemy troops. And this infantry is good infantry in its own right, but as I say, we're throwing those axes around, makes them even more lethal. If we look at the upgrades on his Francisca Herbans, you will see they are fully upgraded. 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his Francisca Herban axe throwing units. So fully upgraded units there, that's pretty good. Be interested to see how well they do. And of course the Franks have got the elite Paladin Cavalry. Now the 10 charge is the highest cavalry charge in the game. Only a few units have got that 10 charge, and this is one of those units. Plus this unit's got really good specifications as well. Remember, the 10 charge is the impact and penetration that cavalry have when they hit enemy units. So that's a pretty good Franks army there. Be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. Okay, our next teammate is Barbarian Invasion player Nestos, who has bought the Celt faction. Now I wanted to show this battle because this is a very unusual experimental Celt army. Remember, we're all still experimenting and trying the factions out, but this is a very unusual Celt army here. You can see here he's got the Druids. Okay, now these are obviously a religious unit to give him morale to enemy troops, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's got 8 of those. Okay. Now these religious units, I say, very important because they give morale to allied troops there. But these guys are actually heavy infantry. Now every other religious unit in the game is light infantry and can be killed quite easily. But these guys are heavy infantry. So that is a unique unit to Barbarian Invasion here. This unit is, because, as I say, all the other religious units are light infantry or light cavalry and can be taken out very easily, but these are heavy infantry. So as I say, very unusual there. And also the second thing I wanted to show you was, okay, he's bought slingers. You've got a choice of bringing I think it's Pictish crossbowmen, but he's bought slingers there. But also what I wanted to show you here was the berserkers that the Celts have got. Now these are the Hounds of Kulan. Okay, now these guys haven't got the same high attack as other berserkers in the game, but these guys have got something else. They've got effective against armor maces. Okay, so they haven't got the high attack bonus of other berserkers, but they have got the effective against armor maces, and it'll be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. Okay, so as I say, the Hounds of Kulan here, with their effective against armor maces, it should be interesting to see how well they do. Okay, as I say, very unusual army builder. And for his cavalry, instead of taking the heavy cavalry 54-man units, he's bought all warlord cavalry units here, and they look like they've got 8 upgrades on each, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. So that is a very, very unusual army build there. As I say, you don't see an army build like that, and it'll be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. Okay, our next teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the ALEMANNI faction. Okay, to me this is a great faction. I like using this one. If you notice here, I've got Knight Raiders. Now remember, these Knight Raiders are effective against armor axes, okay, but also they bring a fear factor, taking morale away from enemy troops, destabilizing them and making them more susceptible to routing. Remember, morale, as we've talked about before, very, very important in Barbarian Invasion. So if you can bring a unit that takes morale away from enemy troops, then that's a good tactical army build there. Okay, so I think I've got 3 Knight Raiders there. And then, of course, I've got the Chosen Axemen. Now these guys are effective against armor, and used properly can cut wide swathes through heavily armored troops, like Roman troops, for instance. Okay, so that's a combination of those Knight Raiders and those Chosen Axemen there. Okay, and if we look at the archers, you've got 2 types of archers. You can have these Chosen archers, which are armored but have only got mid-range with their arrows. Okay, or you can have the Lombard archers, which have got long range but they've got no armor, so of course they can be killed quite quickly as they've got no armor there. So you pay your money and takes your choice kind of thing, really, which you want to bring. I like to bring a combination of those there. I've got golden band unit, a golden band unit as my general. Golden band infantry, very solid infantry, and I think they've got excellent morale as well, so I bought that unit as my general. As I say, this is an experimental Alemanni army, as we're all still experimenting at the moment. Okay, and of course I've got two berserker units, the Lombard berserkers with their two-handed massive swords there, but these guys are not effective against armor. Okay, unlike the Hounds of Kulan that we looked at earlier with the Celts, who are effective against armor, these guys are not effective against armor. Okay, but they have got a higher attack specification. And also here I've got two lots of cavalry that I'm trying out. I've got the Burgundian Lancers, okay, and I've got the Barbarian Noble Cavalry. Okay, the Burgundian Lancers have got a massive 10 charge bonus. Remember, the charge bonus is the impact and penetration into enemy units, but they've got not so good defense, so you couldn't have them in melee for very long, but their impact and penetration is very good with a maximum 10 charge bonus. As I say, not many cavalry units have got that in the game. And these Barbarian Noble Cavalry have only got a 6 charge bonus, but they've got a good high defense. So what I'm doing here, I've got a combination of 3 Burgundian Lancers and 3 of the heavy cavalry there. So there we have a lot of diversity. We've got the Franks, we've got the Celts, and we've got the Alemanni. This should be a great battle for you to watch. I hope you like it. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought I'd show you my battle formation for the Alemanni faction. Now, this faction is not built for defense. Okay, this is not a defensive faction. This faction is an attack faction here. And if you notice, I've got my effective against armor axemen at the front of my battle formation. Okay, so they're going to make first contact with the enemy, and then I've got my my Knight Raiders there with their fear factor and effective against armor axes in the second row. Then my Berserkers in the third row. Okay, and then my general, my golden band general at the rear of the battle formation there. Okay, so make no mistake, this is not a defensive faction here. This is going to be an all-out attack battle formation there. There's my cavalry locked and loaded as well. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Barclayman, who has got a Slavs faction here. And you can see here, he's got his Steppe Warrior Heavy Cavalry. Now these are what I call middle cavalry. They're not bad and they're not elite. They're just a medium type cavalry. And then we've got his archers here. Now these Steppe Raider archers have got a long range, they do a lot of damage, and have got really good specifications, including great defense. So make no mistake, these are elite archers, and he's got 5 units of them. And then he's gone for the Steppe Heavy Spearmen here. Okay, so these guys obviously with their spears are effective against cavalry. It'll be interesting to see how well they do against infantry there. And I see he's got 8 upgrades on his spearmen there. Okay, so that's a reasonably good army. Remember, we're still experimenting, we're still trying out different things here. So, as I say, it's just all about experimenting at the moment. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Man2, who's got the Goths faction. And if you notice there, he's got the Goth Raiders there. These are also elite archers, really good range. They do a lot of damage and got really good defense. So he's got good archers there. And then he's got the Steppe Horde Chosen Warriors. Just like to draw your attention to their swords. Can you see their swords have got curved points? So these swords are for hacking and slashing, not for stabbing as such. Okay? And those guys are pretty tough. And also here, can you see that he's bought a religious unit? I think he's got 2 religious units here, the Aryan priests. Remember, like we said, morale is very, very important in Barbarian Invasion, so to bring religious units is pretty good. And can you see their light infantry? And compared with those Celts druids, who are heavy infantry, those are light infantry. And then he's got his Goth noble warriors. Now these, once again, are what I call middling cavalry. These are just medium cavalry, not poor, but not elite either. As you'll find, most of the cavalry units are medium cavalry, if you like, in Barbarian Invasion. So that's a pretty good Goths army, I think. And their last teammate if we can find him in the woods. There we go. Is Brotherhood member Conan, the co-founder of the Brotherhood, and he has bought the Roman Western Empire Roman faction. Okay, make no mistake, the Romans are pretty tough on Barbarian Invasion. You have to be very tactical with other factions to be able to beat them. And as you can see here, he's got his auxiliary Palatini here with their anti-cavalry spears. Okay, and then he's got his archers here. Now these archers here are only mid-range, not very good really. And then he's got his commandantes, his eagle units here. Remember, these are 122-man units, so you imagine the amount of damage they can do throwing their pilers into enemy troops. And I think he's got several of those eagle units, so not only are they really solid infantry, but they're all eagle units, all giving each other morale as well, keep them fighting longer. Okay. And then he's got the Sarmatian Auxiliary Cavalry. Now these are medium cavalry. Once again, they're not elite, but they're not poor cavalry. And you put good upgrades on them, and they'd be surprisingly good for medium cavalry there. So there's Conan's Roman army there. That could be one we have to really watch out for during the course of the battle. As I say, Romans are pretty tough on Barbarian Invasion. So there's our two teams. It's got the potential to be a classic battle. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle here, you can see our Celt ally has taken his slinger units forward. Man 2 has spotted this and has brought his fast-moving armoured cavalry general out here to try and counter those slingers. As you can see here, our Celt ally is bringing his fast-moving warlord units forward here to counter Man 2's warlord unit himself there. So as you can see here, if they can catch up to him, they'll probably be able to rout him there. But as you can see, Man 2 is drawing them back, probably towards his elite archer range there. His archers there, make no mistake, would like to shoot a lot of arrows into those Celt warlords there. So that was a nice move there by Man 2, trying to draw them back into range of his archers. Okay, you can see Conan bringing his archers forward as well. Once again, you can see the Celt general there taking his slingers a lot forward of his main infantry there. They look a little bit exposed and isolated to me there. But of course, for them to get into range, because Slinger's range is so low that he's got to get really close. Okay, let's pause the game for a second here, just to say that this unit here, this Imperial German bodyguard unit, is one of the toughest general units in the game. I remember years and years ago when we played Barbarian Invasion before, this is one of the toughest general units in the game there. So Conan bringing that unit there could well, I think that's a good move there for keeping his general safe. That's, I say, one of the toughest general cavalry units in the game there. Let's see, Conan bringing it forward, looking to probably take out those two slingers. Now, if I was a Celt general, I'd be running those slingers back or taking cavalry forward there. You can see I'm not going to waste archers on trying to shoot that unit there. I'm not going to waste arrows shooting at that unit there. And as you can see here, he's probably going to turn into that last slinger unit. Bang, as he does that. And as you can see, straight away, without causing any casualties at all, both those Celt slinger units have now been taken out and routed there. So as I say, taking those slinger units that much forward there really was a target for the enemy cavalry. You can see here the Celt general trying to chase down this Imperial unit there with his warlord units, and then Man 2 is going to bring his armoured general out there as well. Okay. So unfortunately the Celt general's lost both of his slinger units there, so he has got no more missile troops there at all. Say here, our Celt general being very aggressive with his cavalry general units there, but with all those elite archers shooting at him there, it would be a good idea maybe to pull out of range. You can see both Man 2 and Conan here with their armoured cavalry generals moving forward, trying to harass and harangue enemy troops there, and that was a nice turn there by our Celt general onto Man 2's general there with his own cavalry units there. That was a nice turn there. We've seen Conan in RTW a lot with his armoured cavalry general creating mischief and mayhem, and he probably looks like he's going to try and do that again here, trying to chase those. See those Celt fast moving units are trying to catch up to that Imperial unit there. He's just running them around there, but you can see the enemy are moving their archers forward here. And as I say, it's a little bit of cat and mouse here, a bit of skirmishing here between the two fast-moving cavalry units. Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. The one thing that worries me here is that either Man 2 or Conan here, if their careful, they might be able to charge in to these berserkers, these Hounds of Kulan. Okay, now remember, if enemy troops touch or get near a berserker unit, it activates that berserker unit, and the Celt general would then have no control over that berserker unit at all, and that berserker unit would just chase the nearest enemy unit. So watch out for that, because that's what the enemy were looking to do there. You can see the enemy taking their archers forward there to target our archers. Okay, and also I notice at the back here you can see that Barclayman slavs both archers and infantry. He's keeping at the rear of his the enemy team there, ready to bring forward, I guess, when needed. But as I say, over here on our left flank, our Celt ally better watch out for either one of those fast-moving cavalry general units there to try and spark off his berserker units. Okay, as I say, it's a very, very unusual Celt army build here, so it'll be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. But look at the enemy have brought all their archers forward there to start targeting our troops. Now, as I say, can you see Conan moving his general forward here? He may well be looking to smash into the flank of one of those berserker units there to try and activate them. And as I say, if that berserker unit is activated, the Celt general loses all control over that berserker unit, and it just goes after the nearest enemy unit. Here you can see Barclayman had a horse archer unit there being a nuisance to the Celts there, so he's now being chased away by that fast moving armoured unit there, cavalry unit. I say horse archers can be quite good, as most units are susceptible to archer damage. Having a horse archer unit can be quite profitable in the casualties it can cause. Right, can you see Man 2's armoured cavalry general here? Now he looks like he's going to go and try and activate a berserker unit. Look at him charging through. Can he break through that druid heavy infantry and touch that berserker unit? Bang, as he goes in, bang. Okay, he has now, as you can see, Man 2 has now deliberately activated that Celt berserker unit. That Hound of Kulan unit now has been activated, and that unit will just chase the nearest enemy unit now, and the Celt general will lose all control over that unit. Now remember, at this stage the Celt general said to us, we need to attack. He's activated one of my berserker units. So that's what the Celt general has said to us. We need to attack, because of course he knows that that berserker unit now would charge for the nearest enemy unit, and that could well be the main battle formations of the enemy team there. And if we don't follow that berserker unit in, that berserker unit would just be killed for nothing. So we need to probably move forward there to support that berserker unit. You can see both Legion 22 and my archers here have moved forward here to target those elite archers that are in front of us. Unfortunately, the Franks archers are only middle range and no armoured archers there. Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. Okay, so as I say, you can see that berserker unit there running towards the enemy team in bloodlust, and then the whole of the rest of the Celt army is following in behind. You can see our Franks general and my army there. As I say, we're going to have to run forward as well to support that one berserker unit charging into the enemy team there. Okay, you can see that berserker, but if that berserker unit gets frightened or overwhelmed by so many troops, it can stop going berserk. Okay, can you see there? Can you see? That berserker unit now has stopped going berserk because it's sensed, I think, so many enemy troops there, plus it's being shot by archers as well, and it's automatically stopped going berserk. So the Celtish general now has got control over that unit and may be able to use it in coordination with the rest of his army there to charge into the enemy team there. Okay, but as I say, you just saw it there, it's just stopped going berserk there. And as I say, you can see the Celt general there charging his cavalry, his druids, and the rest of his berserkers into the enemy team there, and we're both Legion and myself are running forward there to support him there. Right, just want to draw your attention here to a massive enemy cavalry hit. Okay, every enemy cavalry unit there, bangs, they go in. Right, can you see? You've got Man 2's Goth Noble cavalry charging in there, you've got the Steppe Warrior cavalry charging in there, and you've got that auxiliary Roman cavalry charging into those poor Celts. Okay, that is a massive combination enemy cavalry attack there, and bang, as they smash in to that poor Celt, to those poor quick Celt troops there. Look at the impact of all that cavalry. Masses of cavalry there just charged into those Celt troops. So you can see there some more Roman cavalry charging into those druids here. That was a massive combination cavalry attack there on that Celt general. And you can see here, that's where all the enemy cavalry now are based there. All the enemy cavalry are now in that one area there fighting the druids. They've taken out a heck of a lot of the druids there. You can see one of those druids there being thrown up into the air from the impact of that Roman cavalry hit. So you can see here the druids here trying their best to fight. Remember, those druids though are heavy infantry, so as I say, they're going up against good quality cavalry there. You can see a lot of the druids units have already been routed by that massive combination enemy cavalry attack. His general is still alive there, but the rest of the Celt troops that were there have been taken out. You can see I'm running my ALEMANNI troops forward here, and you can see that Legion 22 is Frank's troops there have now engaged the Goths there. Okay, and a nice little move here by the Goth general there, man, too, getting units in the flank of those Frankish troops there. Okay, but that was a massive cavalry attack there, as you saw on those Celt troops there, and taken most of them out. So, say, nice combination cavalry hit there by the enemy team. Okay, you can see here I'm moving my infantry forward there. I'm going to throw my axemen into the front. It wouldn't surprise me if the enemy pulled their cavalry back now to avoid fighting the infantry there. As you can see the enemy now are pulling their cavalry back, as both Legion 22's Frankish Paladin Cavalry and my infantry hit. They've pulled all their cavalry back now out the way, which was a good tactical move there. They don't want to get involved fighting infantry if they can help it. And don't forget, those paladins are elite cavalry as well. And I've got my axemen and knight raiders in there as well. As you can see, our Frankish ally now is fighting the Goths, but we can now maybe go down and hit those Goths in the flank. If you notice here, I'm holding my berserkers, my 2 berserker unit and my general unit back here, and that's because, if you notice, can you see the Roman general and the Slavs general there have got all their infantry intact that they haven't put into the battle yet. So I want to try and hold these berserkers back. I've got my cavalry back here as well. But as I say here, you can see our Frankish ally here is engaging with the Goths here. But as I say, we might be able to move down from the other flank and maybe roll these Goth raiders up. Okay, you can see some Goth cavalry there maybe looking to charge in. But here, can you see I'm moving my axemen and my knight raiders down towards the flank of those engaged Goths there as they charge in there. Plus you've got the Frankish cavalry charging in there as well. The paladins smashing into the flank of those engaged enemy troops. Nice hit there by the paladins, and bang as they smash in there. As you can see here, we're rolling the enemy Goths up from left to right, looking at it from this angle here. You can see my cavalry. I'm now looking to charge my cavalry in there. You can see those Goth cavalry smashing into my infantry there. So now you can see that I'm counter-attacking with my cavalry. We've got our Frankish allies, Paladin Cavalry in there as well. Bang! As my cavalry smash in to those Goth raiding cavalry there. As you see, we've routed those Goth cavalry that were fighting there. So that was a nice hit there by us. We've routed that cavalry. And that's a massive lot of my paladins and my cavalry there smashed into them. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here. Okay, so I've got all my cavalry and infantry engaged at the moment, fighting the enemy troops there, as we've routed those Goth cavalry and a lot of the Goth infantry. But now the Roman troops are starting to move in onto my infantry, and you've got those Slav spearmen moving in as well. Okay, remember, they kept those infantry back. They're fresh and intact. Also, I'd like to draw your attention here. Can you see that Barclayman's got his heavy cavalry in behind our cavalry with a view to smash into the rear of our engaged troops? Plus, you got that Roman cavalry there as well, ready to smash in as well. Okay, so with that enemy cavalry in behind us there, things may be not looking very good for our team at the moment. As you can see, I've activated both my berserker units now. So both my Lombard berserkers have been activated, and they will now go for the nearest enemy units to attack. Okay, here you are. You can see that step cavalry there coming in behind us there. Bang! As they smash into the rear of my troops there. They've routed my archer units there. I'm going to counter-attack with my cavalry. You can see my Frankish ally has attacked with his cavalry as well. And if we can smash that Slav cavalry there, let a sandwich between my infantry and our cavalry. Get ready for this. Bang! They smash in there with my cavalry. We have now routed all that step cavalry as well. So that's good news for us. Okay, but you can see that Roman infantry moving in. You can see the Roman cavalry coming in as well. Get ready for this, and bang, as that Roman cavalry smashes into my attacking cavalry as well here. Okay, so I've got my Burgundian Lancers and my heavy Barbarian Cavalry there fighting that Roman cavalry. Make no mistake here, this could be the make or break of the battle. If the Roman cavalry smash my cavalry, they can then get in behind our engaged infantry and maybe go on to win the battle here. Okay, so my cavalry, we've got our Frankish allies, Paladin Cavalry in there as well. But we've got Roman infantry closing in on us as well. Remember that Roman infantry, really solid, steady infantry there. I've got my effective against armour axemen fighting as well. But there's a combination of Roman infantry and those steppe spearmen, enemy Slav steppe spearmen there moving in on us as well. And don't forget all the time, these elite Slav archers here, those steppe raiders, are shooting their arrows into us. Look, they're in close, tight formation to do more damage, more impact, more penetration there. And as I say here, you can see our Frankish ally with his axe Hurban and his Francisca Hurban there charging into the enemy troops as well. Okay, but as I say here, this battle here between my cavalry and the Roman cavalry here could prove pivotal and decisive to the outcome of the battle there. If you look here, as we look, see how fierce the battle is here. As I say, we've got our Frankish allies, Paladin Cavalry in there as well. This is a real tussle here between enemy cavalry and our cavalry here. Make no mistake, whoever wins here could well go on to win the battle. As I say here, my cavalry is fighting as tough, as hard as they can, but I can see a lot of my units there are getting battle depleted really quickly. And as I say, we've got Roman infantry closing in on us as well. This is a real tussle. As I say, both my berserkers are activated and will be doing a lot of damage to the enemy troops. Don't forget the fear factor the berserkers bring as well, destabilizing enemy troops there. But unfortunately here, can you see my cavalry are starting to crack? Okay, and you can see the Roman cavalry charging into my infantry. Right. Okay, so you can see that most of my cavalry has now been taken out, and I think most of our allies' Frankish cavalry has been taken out as well. Okay, so that Roman cavalry are now smashing into my infantry there. Okay, but I've got effective against armour axemen there. You can see the Frankish ally there attacking the enemy steppe spearmen. Okay, heavy spearmen there, and those Roman troops as well. Okay, so as I say, the game is right up in the air at the moment. If you were a betting person, which way do you think this battle's going to go? As I say, it's going to be extremely close here. All the time we've got enemy archers shooting into us. As I say, in that close, tight formation, those archers are getting a lot of impact and doing a lot of damage to us there all the way through the battle. Plus, you've got Conan's archers here as well, shooting arrows into us all the time as well. So make no mistake here, we're taking a lot of casualties from enemy archers there. But luckily, Legion's got his 5 medium range archers here replying to the enemy troops. They're shooting lots of arrows into the enemy troops as well. Okay, so as I say, we've routed a lot of enemy infantry there, but with all those archer arrows coming in on us, it could be a real problem. As I say, that enemy cavalry have now smashed into my infantry. Okay, but effective against armour axemen can be very, very effective against armoured cavalry. So I'm hoping that my axemen there, plus my... Did you see this cavalry unit just glow there? That Roman cavalry unit just glowed because it's just got a battlefield promotion for killing so many enemy troops. Okay, so that cavalry unit will have an experience stripe on it now. As I say here, you can see the Roman cavalry there fighting my infantry. But don't forget, both my Knight Raiders and effective against armour axemen are just that. They've both got effective against armour axes and will be chopping down that enemy cavalry, which they've just done there. So I'm pleased with the way the infantry performed. Wasn't very pleased with the way my cavalry performed. They're getting taken out, but infantry did okay there. As I say, you can see my Frankish ally here. The last of our Celt allies units has just been routed there. That's the last Druid unit has just been routed. So he's done well there to keep fighting all the way through. As I say, you can see our Frankish ally being attacked by Roman troops and those steppe Slav spearmen. Plus, as I say, all those arrows coming in from enemy troops there. So as I say here, I think our infantry is doing quite well. I was pleased with how my infantry repelled that big Roman cavalry attack there. As I say, those Knight Raiders, don't forget, bring fear factor to enemy troops, take a morale away from enemy troops as well. That's why I bring those Knight Raiders, as well as their effective against armour capability as well there. Okay, so let's say here, you can see my infantry now closing in on the rest of those enemy infantry there, and our Franks ally is attacking. Right, here comes that Imperial German unit there, and bang, and it smashed into the rear of my units there. Remember, this is one of the toughest units. You see that unit glow there? So that unit's just got a battlefield promotion as well. I've got an extra stripe on it. But as you can see, my axemen there just chopped down That unit there, as I say, the effective against armour axemen and the Night Raiders can do a lot of damage to heavily armoured infantry and cavalry. And it looks like our team has managed to rout the last of the enemy infantry there, I think. And it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle. Just want to show you, remember these are 82-man units. I've got 10 men in that unit, 19 men in that unit. In my general unit, I've got 5 men left in my general unit. 15 men in that unit, 22 men in that unit. Remember, these are 82-man units. 27 men in that unit, 12 men in that unit, 36 men in that unit seems a lot, and 8 men in that unit. And that's the whole of my Alemanni army. That just goes to show how much of a battle of attrition this was. I think Legion's still got some reasonable numbers left in his troops there, in his units. But as I say, this was a real battle of attrition there. And when that Roman cavalry routed my cavalry, I thought that could well have been the end of the game there. But luckily my infantry managed to neutralise that enemy cavalry attack. As you can see here, you can still see the Slav archers there shooting into us. Be causing a lot of casualty. Remember, all our units are susceptible to archer damage. So let's say they've been shooting into us all game. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second, just show you the intensity of the fighting here. You can just see the massive piles of dead. And bearing in mind this is just a 3v3 battle here, you can see the intensity of the battle here by just the massive piles of dead. Okay, it's only a small battlefield here, it's not spread out too much, but as I say here, you can tell how intense and how much this was really a battle of attrition here. But I say it doesn't really matter who wins or loses in these battles, because it's all about experimenting, trying things out, and seeing what we can learn from each battle here. As I say, I don't bring the Alemanni faction that much, so that was an experimental army. The Celt, our Celt ally, that was a really experimental army, and probably all of us were just experimenting with different armies here. So as I say, it doesn't matter who wins or loses, it's just about learning the game really still is what we're doing. But as I say, it's very intense there, and as I say, exciting battle. Okay, so first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there, and as you can see, it was an average victory. I thought it might have just edged into close, but obviously it must have just edged up to victory. Highest kills in the game goes to Brotherhood member Legion 22, 1,651 kills with his Frankish army, so really well done to him for the highest kills in the game. So well done to Barclay Man with his Slavs army. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but as I say, he was just experimenting there with the Slavs. As I say, he didn't get the kills that he wanted probably. And he got Man 2, who's bought the GOTHS. He probably didn't get the kills that he wanted either. But as I say, it's all about experimenting here. And well done to Conan, got some good kills with his solid Roman army there. So really well played, guys. Nice teamwork there. A nice cavalry charge at the beginning there. And my Alemanni army got the second highest kills in the game. Once again, experimental army there. It didn't do too badly. Nestos' Celts probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but that was a very, very unusual, shall I say, army build there for the Celts. And well done to Legion, as I say there, highest kills in the game. So once again, really well played to everybody in the game. As a lot of you know, we play Barbarian Invasion every Sunday night if you'd like to join us. I like the diversity in this game. Alemanni, Celts and Franks in our team, and Slavs, Goths and Rome in the other team. Nice bit of diversity there. This Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed this battle. Please join us on a Sunday if you'd like to play some Barbarian Invasion, and bye for now.